Hello, welcome. My name is Inely Cesna. Welcome to the mediation training. This session, we're going to talk about a few concepts that are very widely utilized in the mediation field, but not widely understood. And they are the concepts of multipartiality, impartiality, and neutrality. Often we use these terms here and there as synonyms, but they are actually different. There are subtle but important differences between them that I would like to point out here for you. So let's go right into our slides. All right, so multipartiality, impartiality, and neutrality. Here is a table I would like to present to you with several aspects, and they have certain distinctions in all these different terms. And those aspects are the definition, the focus, the mediator's role, the perception by the parties, the risk when it's misapplied or misunderstood, and examples and metaphors here for you to take a look. So let's start with neutrality. What is neutrality? Neutrality is when the mediator does not take side, right? We are completely neutral. We are not favoring one part versus the other. We are not expressing opinions. We are completely neutral. So there is an equal distance between us as mediators and each of the parties. We are there for the resolution. We are standing there as advocates for a settlement, for an amicable resolution of the matter, and we keep equal distance from the parties. So the mediator has a sort of an observer position where our involvement is very much directed to the process, to creating the environment and facilitating the progression of the conversation in such a way that it leads to resolution. And the perception of the party is that the mediator is standing apart from both of us or is connecting with both of us in similar ways. So the mediator is not favoring each one of the parties. It's utilizing the same distance and the same connection with everyone involved, providing this environment where neutrality then stands out. Now, one risk here, when this is misapplied, is that the mediator can seem detached, can seem disengaged, can seem disconnected. And that's not what you want to do as mediators. As mediators, it's a very sacred opportunity to enter that conflict. So how do we present ourselves in this neutral position without dissociating or distancing ourselves from what's happening? And an example here in practice is when the mediator, refrain from agreeing or disagreeing with a party's statement, right? This represents the neutrality. Whatever is present for the parties, that's what it is, and there is no agreeing or disagreeing. In fact, the opinion of the mediator, has no impact on the situation, and it's not the point for the mediator to be there. Now, in terms of a metaphor, I like this picture in front of us. It's like the mediator is just taking the situation for what it is. There's 3 people in front of a wall watching a game, and these 3 people are have different heights. They are what they are, and that's what the situation is. And we are taking the situation exactly as is, right? That's neutrality. We are taking things as is. All right, now let's compare this a little bit with impartiality. And let's look at impartiality. Impartiality means that we are treating the entire process in ways that are fair, equal, and just. So we are creating a process with no bias. We are creating a process that is fair, that it's equal in demeanor and justice, right? We have equal treatment of each parties. That's very important to mediation, right? To make sure that we are fair and there is equal treatment for all those involved. So we are ensuring that they have the same opportunity to speak, or that we speak to them at about the same amount of time. They have the same access to information. They have the same access to us as mediators or to other professionals involved in the mediation, and that the process is fair. So the idea from the parties is that they see the mediator as fair to both of us. Mediator is fair to both of us. Now, the risk here when misapplied is that this equal treatment can become superficial and disregard power imbalances that may be happening at the mediation table. This is particularly important for dependency court mediation, where there may be domestic violence, or there may be some kind of retaliation happening in the background. And so the power imbalance is something that can be present, and impartiality may ignore that. So an example in practice in terms of impartiality is giving each party exact the same amount of time to speak, using the same tone, using the same communication tools for all parties. So if you look at the picture underneath there, it's okay, you have 3 people in front of a wall watching the game, and you provide the same stool for each one of them. You provide the exact same process for each one of them to face the context within which they are, right? All right, let's look now at multipartiality. Multipartiality means that the mediator here is actively involved in supporting the parties in expressing their needs, looking at their perspectives and the emotions, and validating and giving attention to the party as they require it. So in multipartiality, there is equal engagement with each party. So the mediator is engaging in the same way in each party, so the mediator can better understand where the party is, where the party is coming from. And so in the mediator's role, there is an opportunity to recognize power imbalance, and then to balance the power towards leaning the ones that are less empowered, and to hear them and understand them, and improve their voices in a way that they can be better heard, and they can have a equal footing in the mediation table. So the mediation here, the perception is that the parties perceive the mediators as being with me as much as with the other person. Right? Now, the risk here in multipartiality, when it's misapplied, is that parties may perceive the mediator as being with the other party more so than with me. And then it creates a problem, right? It creates biases. So the example here is, for example, the mediator will help to quiet, or the most vocal party, help that party quiet down and calm down, so that the less vocal party can express and can be considered in the mediation. So in the picture, in the end there, you will see the mediator may apply different tools and different processes for different party, so that they can all see the game at the same level. Right? So there's different connection, different ways the mediator will connect with each party to allow all of them to have the same viewing sight. And so that's interesting and very subtle, the differences here. It's important for mediators to be aware of all of them. I think all of them are important. Mediators should be able to navigate between all of them, to understand when multipartiality is called for, to understand the need for equal treatment and fair process, and also to understand the need for neutrality and equal distance, so that there is no bias and no and that the process itself can resolve in a way in which everyone feels heard, feels expressed, feels considered, and thus the settlement is more prone to be sustainable and to really promote resolution. Right? Now, one thing I like to point out here is a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh, says, "Neutrality is not indifference, but the space where the truth can be heard and understanding can grow." So I hear this neutrality as an important part of mediation, because it's not about being distant and being indifferent, but about allowing, whatever is underneath the conflict to come forward. But once that's there, then the mediator has to make sure we use impartiality to maintain the process as fair, and also the use of multipartiality to provide the same level of participation and collaboration to all those in the table. And to do that, we have to deeply understand what's underneath the conflict, what's happening, where are the power imbalances, and how can we level the playing field for all those involved. All right, I hope this presentation was helpful. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you in the next one.